Welcome. The question I want to ask you is about your needs. Do you need to become a qualified financial planner? Do you need to complete your required qualifications in terms of the fit and proper requirements of FAAS and the FSCA? Do you just want to develop more and become qualified and professional financial advisor and eventually become a financial planner? Are you not sure which qualification would best meet your needs? Have you credits from various sources all over the place but are confused about what you need to do to complete? Can you put these together into one qualification? Can they be used? Are they still relevant? If you're not sure if you're already fit and proper, you may in fact have a qualification which is acceptable, and you may not need at this stage to be studying further. You should be doing something else rather than studying a qualification. Are you new to the industry and need to complete your introductory class of business training to be allowed to see clients? Have your qualifications, but you're not sure what guidance on what to do now? You've got your level 5, you got it a while back, you have heard about becoming a CFP, this seems like a good idea. Is it what you want to do? Do you want to complete your continued professional development using effective and useful programs to keep up to date as time goes on and to meet the FSCA requirements for continuing professional development? Well, RSC or Ray Strodl Consulting can help. We are a training provider focused on financial advisors and professionals. We're accredited with INSETA and I have accreditation with DHET, or the Department of Higher Education, and QCTO pending currently. We provide very specialized training for financial advisors, and this is made up of recognition of prior learning as part of our blended learning approach, class of business training and assessment for new people into the industry who need to do this requirement for the areas they're licensed in, qualifications in financial services at level 4, 5, 6, and 7 for FAAS fit and proper requirements for financial advisors and financial planner development. We provide regulatory exam preparation for the exams that you would then do with Moonstone. We do CPD or continuing professional development for financial advisors who are now fit and proper but need to stay fit and proper by keeping up to date. We also provide coaching and consulting on a wide range of things. We consult on education on how to become fit and proper. We are not compliance officers. If you need a compliance officer, we have a very good partner who is a compliance officer. We'd pass you on to him. But the education part of being fit and proper is our area of speciality, and we would make sure that you do what's best for you, what best meets your needs, and is going to best serve your purposes going forward. We do development plans to become professional financial planner or an industry specialist at a later stage. We are subject matter experts, and we provide subject matter advice on financial planning by experienced financial advisors and planners and legal advisors. We provide advice to clients, rarely, or we provide support to advisors in financial planning. So financial advisors who have been learners within our organization, if they run into a very complex client, they could call on the subject matter experts we have within the organization to assist. We have online resources for training and development in financial services, financial planning, and the financial services industry generally. It's important that if you're going to deal with any training provider that they are accredited, and we are accredited. We have been INSETA accredited since 2010. Our provider number is there. You can go onto the INSETA website and check us out if you want to check that we are actually accredited. All our qualifications and programs are SAQA registered through INSETA and now the new QCTO qualifications. We have a Department of Higher Education registration pending. It was put in a while ago, and this process takes some time, but we are being accredited as a higher education independent provider. We have a accreditation with the new training and programs that are coming out from QCTO, and that is currently pending. We are currently accredited as a training provider for CPD with the Financial Planning Institute and with the Compliance Institute for CPD. I mentioned earlier that we can assist with providing advice because we only allow subject matter experts in the areas to become facilitators or assessors. All our facilitators and assessors are required to meet certain standards. First of all, they must be a subject matter expert in the area in which they facilitate or assess. What that means is they've got to have actually done it. We will never allow a person to train financial advisors on how to do investment planning unless the facilitator and assessor are people that have actually been in that area and can provide practical insight in how to do this job. Pure theory is not what we're about. We prefer all our facilitators to hold a CFP membership or at least have a postgraduate in financial planning at level 8. Or if they're in a specialist area, they must have a specialist qualification in the area they facilitate. We have one subject matter expert who is an expert on compliance and legislation and regulations, and he has a PhD in ethics. Must have practical experience in the area, as I said before. Pure theoretical experience. So someone who went to university, got themselves a degree, thought that training would be better than actually doing the job, and then has never actually sold a life insurance product or advised a client on doing an investment plan. We will not accept them into our organization as a facilitator or assessor. They must obviously be INSETA accredited as assessors and or moderators. And they must be accredited as representatives. The people that work for us are actually practicing representatives as well, so that they can give up-to-date practical advice on how to do the job. Our company operates with a process called blended learning. We're registered with INSETA as a blended learning provider. And what this essentially means is we don't operate in one area of learning only. We do a number of things. For example, we do a pre-assessment and credit audit of what you've got, what your existing level of knowledge is, so that this is part of the recognition of prior learning process, that if you know stuff already, we do not teach you stuff you know already. The blended learning program that we do is a mix of RPL, which I've mentioned earlier, it is recognition of prior learning, online self-study, online research and reading, continue-based training, online webinars and video-based lectures, online coaching and guidance, online assignments and practical workplace and knowledge components, which all make part of what's called the formative assessment in the INSETA assessment process. There are online case studies to apply knowledge and practical in a workplace environment. And then finally, there's a final integrated summative assessment, which is the only part of this process that's done in a classroom situation under exam conditions. A little more detail, the RPL process. When you start with us, we would pre-assess you. As I said, this would give us an idea of your existing level of knowledge, what credits you have got already, and we will never ever make you do work and assess you again in an area where you are already competent. Then there's self-study using resources provided on our website as support to learners and to the industry. We've got a whole lot of stuff on our website which is open to anyone in the industry to use. We have online at blended learning program, which is only available to our learners that are registered with us. And that has a structured self-study program, which is online. There are video lectures. There are multiple choice questions to test knowledge. There's structured research assignments to gain context of that knowledge and understand how it's being applied in the world today. Then we do practical assignments to apply the knowledge and start to develop skills in financial advice. We then have a workplace assignment to actually apply the knowledge, skills, and attitudes that you've learned from this program in a workplace environment. The next step would be, if required, classroom training can be provided either online using Zoom or Teams, or in some instances it could in fact be face-to-face classroom. Coaching is, if people are stuck and they require online coaching, that is included, again using Zoom or Microsoft Teams. We have specialist extra coaching provided. This is what I was talking about earlier. If you now have a specialist problem in a particular area, we have specialist experts who can provide input on that if required. We then do the normal assessment, moderation, and verification process, which is required in terms of the INSETA and SACRA process. Once that's been done, we're allowed to upload your credits, which are then quality assured by INSETA. Once that has been done, we're allowed to then issue your statement of credits from the INSETA system or Indicium, which is in fact proof positive that at that stage you have those credits. If you've now done 2 or 3 skills programs which make up a qualification, once you've completed the qualification, INSETA will then issue a certificate. The INSETA qualifications that we're offering currently, there's a number of level 4. There's FETC, Further Education and Training Certificates, one in wealth management, one in long-term insurance, and one in short-term insurance, all at level 4. The main program we've been running is the National Certificate in Wealth Management at NQF Level 5, which is made up of a number of skills programs, which I mentioned earlier. There's one on the regulatory and economic environment for about 41 credits, risk and financial advice for about 50 credits, wealth management for about 45 credits, and those 3 would make up a qualification. However, if you wanted to do a specialist program, you could then, rather than the wealth management, you could do wealth management, estates and wills, which would go far more into estate planning and wills and trusts. If you wanted to only do long-term, you're a long-term insurance advisor, you could in fact do the long-term speciality elective program. There's a pensions and employee benefits program, and then there is an advanced investments program. And in fact, the advanced investments program is made up mainly of level 6 unit standards, where this qualification is at level 5. And then there is, in fact, a health and medical aids speciality program. This qualification has now been replaced by a QCTO qualification, which is the Quality Council for Trades and Occupations. And I was part of the team that, in fact, developed this qualification. And the first qualification that we have applied to do is the one that's going to replace the Level 5 Wealth Management. And you'll see some similarities there. First of all, you have a operational certificate or occupational certificate for long-term, which would be very similar to our long-term skills program. Then there's one for pensions and employee benefits, and there's one for health, and all of the above are at NQF 5. And then there is an investments module at NQF 6. There is also a compliance officer qualification at NQF 6, and a financial markets practitioner qualification at NQF 7, all of which we will be offering during 2020 to 2021. Once you've got your qualification, we do a lot of development support. So if we want to help people become professional financial advisors and eventually financial planners, and these people would aspire to membership of the Financial Planning Institute, and we would provide support and guidance for this. There's in fact an RPL process where once you've got a underlying qualification and 5 years experience, you can in fact do RPL, which will give you access to do the postgraduate in financial planning at NQF8, which will lead you to becoming a CFP. We provide guidance to our past learners on whether this is a process they should follow or should they rather do a level 6 and a level 7. Once they've got access, if they are doing the postgraduate financial planning, we have specialists around the country who can provide specialist input on a one-on-one basis or to small groups of people to prepare for the postgraduate financial planning NQF8, whether you're doing it with University of Free State, University of Stellenbosch, or any of the other providers. We will in fact provide support for that. We also provide support on various specialist qualifications which are available as well. There's in fact a specialist investment qualification at NQF8, estate planning, health, and practice management. We also provide class of business. I mentioned this a little earlier. This is at the beginning of your process. The FSCA has come up with a rule which says if you're going to provide advice in an area and be licensed in an area, you have to have generic knowledge of that area before you start giving advice. So you've got your product training that you do with your product provider, but on top of that, you need to also have generic advice. So if you're working for a company that's selling short-term, you would have to do short-term personal lines or short-term commercial lines. If you're selling only long-term, you would then do long-term insurance and personal pensions. If you were doing pensions and employee benefits, you would do the class of business for that. If you were doing investments, then you would have to do the investments class of business. Then there's long-term and short-term deposits, and there's in fact a health class of business. The training methods for this is mainly online, mainly computer-based. We can provide classroom training, but we prefer to do this through online self-study with online videos, self-study material, multiple choice exams. And as I said earlier, a facilitated program can be provided if required. Regulatory exams are not conducted by Ray Strodl Consulting, but we do provide support for them. The only organization that is accredited by the Financial Service Sector Conduct Authority is in fact Moonstone. So you would register for your exam with Moonstone, but we would provide you with training material for either key individual or representative training. And again, the training methods we use would be self-studying using resources provided. It's mainly online. There is, in fact, a blended learning program that you can attend online, or we can do a facilitated workshop for 2 days, or we can, in fact, provide one-on-one coaching and guidance in support of the self-study material to do this exam. Again, we allow people to sort of really choose which of the methods they prefer. CPD, or continuing professional development, is the end of the train. Once you've got all your qualifications, you've got your class of business, you've got your regulatory exams, you then have to every year get a number of credits. It depends on the areas you're licensed in, how many credits you need. It can be as much as 18 to 20 per year. CFP professionals have to do 35 credits a year, of which 20 have to be provable through doing a program. And the FPI and FAAS both require continuing professional development. So if you're registered with either of those organizations, you will have to do this. FAAS requires 6 credits for each license area with a maximum of 18. The FPI requires 35. RSC provides these points in the following ways. Online lectures for 2 hours with an exam online, which will give you 2 points. So it's a 2-hour lecture, a little test, you've got your 2 points. Or you attend a 2-hour workshop, whether it's a webinar or a face-to-face workshop, you sign in, you sign out, and you achieve your 2 points. The CBT programs that we are offering at the moment cover a number of areas. These are on a rotational basis. These were developed over 2019, and in fact, here now in May, we in fact are the first ones that were done May last year will now start to expire and be replaced by new ones. We will either update the existing ones and put out the existing one again, or we will in fact replace with a completely new one if the one we did last year is no longer relevant. So one of the ones we did last year was phase and changes to the new fit and proper requirements, the new structure and Twin Peaks system within the financial services industry, POPI and the protection of personal information, personal financial planning as a subject, retirement planning as a subject, tax and the 2019 budgets. That would be definitely something which I imagine we will be seeing again in 2020. Industry changes and the use of technology, how technology has impacted on it. And I think with the shutdown and the rush to technology that COVID has started, this is going to be a relevant one for 2020. The impact of political decisions and actions on the South African economy and how this impacts on investment and retirement planning. Change in retirement legislation that has happened over the last few years. And as I said, other programs are added each month. So each month as one program expires, the new program will be introduced to replace it. If you're interested in talking to us and finding out more about what we do, contact us. Our details, we've got a website at www.rscnetwork.co.za. We have a Facebook site. Our email is info@rscnetwork.co.za. Or you could phone us on our business landline at 011 704 2031. Our office hours are between 8 and 5. And we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you so much for your time. And I do hope that you will be in contact with us if you want to discuss your future professional development.